start recording. Okay, so if I look at this area all the way into here, is the blend area. Hold on, let me grab something over here so we can make this even easier to see. Or a better term that I should be using is a transition area. Ah, shoot. Hold on. Because this will help make life easier for you guys. Oh, come on, get over here. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, so let's fill that in now. So, and you can see how it's going to be all those different factors coming together. So my first step, because I've identified this as a blend section, is that I'm going to want to build these surfaces. Damn it. I'm going to want to build these surfaces first. And I'm not going to try to join them in the beginning. I mean, we can do that, but I think what you were experiencing, Megan, and correct me if I was wrong, or I'm wrong, is that you weren't able to get that kind of nice blend in between the two. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what we've got is, let's go to our bucket. We're going to fill that in. We're going to fill that in. We're going to fill that. We're going to fill that in. There. Now, as I look at this, I don't necessarily say that it really matters what one I'm going to build first. But my opinion is that I'm going to build this one first because it's coming off of the tea kettle. And that is kind of, the grounding point. I want to make sure I have that right. So let's go back to solid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to SolidWorks here. Okay, so give me a second here while I pull up the files that I want. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to first do, and I'm not going to do this pretty, so it's just more about getting it somewhat right, okay? What I'm going to do first is I want to have that boss that goes into the part first, because that's going to be my controlling diameter. So we know it's in the center, and we're going to say it's about that big. And then what we're going to do is, of course, you would use your image underlay. We'll have it come out that far. We'll have it go in both directions. There we go, mid-plane. I just want to make sure it's going in there right. We're going to union it or merge it. So that kind of that's our starting point. Now, I'm not going to get into the details that there appears to be a flange or whatever on it. And I'm not, because I already know this is going to be a metal part or a different part, I'm not going to union this right off the bat. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to extrude the first part. And I'm going to use the diameter of this to extrude it. Oh. Oh, come on, exit sketch. Oh, come on, stop. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. But I don't want to merge it, not at this time. Like I say, it's going to be a separate solid body. So the next is I want to figure out what angles I want the other pieces at. So for this, I will turn that sketch back on, just so I can get it somewhat close. There we go. Okay, so variety of ways that we can do this. It doesn't really matter. We can either create a circle at this angle and extrude it. I can do a sketch here and do a revolve. Just to make life easy, I don't want to have to do, and it's more minimal effort work put in. Because if you think about it, I'm going to look at this and say, well, this is an extrude, this is an extrude. So that means I have to create a sketch plane, do an extrude, create a sketch plane, do an extrude. Or if I'm in this view, let me make sure that's at the center. I can go on and do it. Oops, let's exit out of the sketch. I can come in and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to create a sketch. And what I want to do is I'm going to have it that diameter. So I'm going to draw a center line here. And again, I'm just eyeballing it. And I'm going to have the center line come up there. Then I'm going to simply draw the shape that I want for this. Now, at the same time, I want to make sure that it's below that blend point. Because again, I'm going to be blending everything into here and here. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to simply just go feature. We'll do a revolve. We've got to select the access point. So there we've got that. Now, I'm actually, because at any time I'm going to change these handle things, I'm more than likely going to want to get into the same sketch. No, never mind. I want to create a new sketch. And the reason I want to create a new sketch, hold on, is because I want to make sure I have separate volves. So, same thing, I'm going to come in, create the sketch. I'm going to find that line. Call that the center. Oh. We're going to come in. And you want to be very careful too that you're making things all perpendicular so that this is a proper rectangle. You can see I used the guidelines, but if you really want to make sure, you come back and you make sure that everything is tangent. So this is all tangent, all 90 degrees. It also has to be a closed off loop. So we're going to come in and do this. And then we're going to revolve that. This is also where you can start playing with it and saying it's too big, it's not big enough. So since this one is so high, I kind of have to either adjust this or drop this down because, and this isn't about me making it look pretty, it's about physics. I cannot get this curve in with this being that low because the spline would have to come from here and go there. So I'm in this sketch, or I'm in this view. Let's just edit it. I'm just going to grab that. Now you can see if I put a dimension on there, I would have just been able to grab the whole thing. Oh, Let's see if that gives us what we need. Yeah, so now I can get there and go there. Okay. Now, let's hide that sketch. Let's hide that sketch. No. Okay. Shut up. Sorry. The dogs know I have food, so. Now what I want to do is if we go back to that sketch, I now need to create this Y joint or Y blend or whatever you want to call it. So since I'm using surfacing tools, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly turn these parts into surfaces by simply coming in, grabbing the faces, and then just deleting those faces. Oh, hold on. Sorry, let's go to surfaces. We're going to delete face. We're going to get rid of that one, and this one. Now, there's lots of ways to try and do this. One of the first ways I'm going to try is the simplest way. So what I want to do is I want to draw these connecting curves from here to here, here to here, and here to here to get that kind of profile showing the arcs. So again, I'm going to use this side profile sketch. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a spline. I want to snap it to that surface into there. We'll put one on each area here. And you can see with this one, I didn't quite get it on there, so I want to make sure I do. Now, a lot of this is what you're going to learn next semester. When I'm building something off of a surface, I could draw a line and have this be tangent to that line, but I want to make sure I'm doing it off the surface. So a quick and easy way to get that line to build towards and to make sure that I can tell the curve to be curvature or tangent is that I'm going to come in, I'm going to go to the top view. I'll do a quick sketch because what I want to do is I want to split these surfaces. I want to have a line on those surfaces that are right down the center. So what I'm going to do in order to separate them, and I guess you know what, I didn't have to draw a sketch because the plane's in the perfect spot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and under features, hold on, let me think here for a second. Where is it? Okay, let's do it this way. Where's all my tools? Give me a second while I find it. I lost my thought. No, I'm not in a sketch. Trim, cut, curves, surfaces. I am looking for split. What's going on in here? Where did all my normal stuff go? Okay, let me figure this out here. Surface. Okay, I can't find what I want, So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these in half so that I can just do the one side. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to go cut with surface. Surface cut parameters is the plane. And then I'm going to select what I want. Come on. It's only letting me cut bodies. Okay. Brain fart all of a sudden. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so I want to create a split line. Split line literally projects a line onto these surfaces. So insert, curve, split line, and then it asks me, what do I want to project? Do I want to project a sketch, which is what I drew down here? And I can go, okay, these are the faces I wanted on. I can then hit OK. And now I've got those lines to connect to. I could have also, you saw that it also said, you know, or a plane. So as long as you have a plane that's in there, you could do that as well. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is because when you're using curves on surfaces and that, it's always better to get curvature off of a surface. You want to have it going into a curve. So I could very easily draw a line there, draw another line here on this without using the split line, and then come in, do this, and then click and make it. But it's understanding the tangency to those lines. It's not as accurate as trying to do it to the surface. So what I want to do now is come in. I don't know why that one is black. So we're just going to delete it. And we're going to toss another one in here. Okay, so now I can come in and say, I want this to be curvature, tangent, whatever I want to this line. So we're just going to make, for sake of life, we're going to make things simple and just do tangency. And then I also want it to go tangent up into this area. And we're going to do all of it at once. We're going to come in here, we're going to do tangent here. And then there's always going to be playing around. Now you can see here, and this is why you want to be able to go very methodical and toss in tangencies and that. You can see here, by not putting that tangency in, it's pointing downward. If you're going really fast, like there, it may look like it's fine, unless you realize, hey, look at this, it sits lower than that. So there we go. Let's do this one. So something went wrong there. I'm not sure where my family's all going. Something about front seat gets it first. If they're going for ice cream and I don't get any, I'll probably be angry. Okay, so something's not right there, so I'm just going to delete the spline. And I'll toss another one in. Sometimes, instead of trying to figure out what's wrong, it's just quicker to drop one in. I don't try to figure out things all that often anymore. There we go. So, what was different between this one and that one? I don't know. I don't care. You know. So, now, I'm going to show you a really cool tool. And if it works, it's awesome. But I also want to show you something else first. So we're going to want this surface to be tangent so that there's no bottoms in here. What we can do, again, if we're building something off of another model or part, it's always better to build it off of a surface than a line. So if I come in and I'm going to say, well, I want it to be tangent here, but there's nothing tangent for it to be other than that line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fudge in a surface. I'm going to take those curves and I'm going to extrude them. So now, when I try to build this, I'm going to tell it to be tangent off of a surface, not off of a curve. That is much more mathematically accurate. It's more data, so it's more control. Now, you took a very good approach, Megan, of trying to loft the surfaces and get them together. And that's only going to get you so far because it is somewhat of an organic shape. Now, what we can do is we've all seen the lofted surface. We've used that where I can go from one curve to the next. So if I go and say, hey, I want to do this, and I want to use this guide curve, and I want to use this guide curve, the problem is we have no end edge to match it to. So let's get rid of that. What we can do is we can then come back and say, well, let's take a look at the boundary surface. That gives us a lot more options, but it still doesn't, it just allows you to do a little bit more control than the lofted surface. The next is called the fill surface. And it is exactly that. It takes a network of curves and it generates a mesh to fill that opening. So one of the things, how many of you have done fiberglass or done something with fabric where you lay it over and you cut it back and trim it? Basically what you're going to imagine is that you're taking a surface and it's going to lay over all these edges and it's going to trim back. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, here's the boundary. I'm not going to worry about what the tangent or curvature or anything along the edges are. I do know that I eventually want to ensure that all these edges are tangent. So, but to start off with, I'm just happy if the surfaces touch. So I can then come in, and you have to click them in order. If I click here and then I click here, why do I do it in order? I know why. Because what I want to do is I know what order I'm picking them in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that as I'm doing it, if I want to have different, if I want one to have curvature, one to have not, when I look in here, I know that this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, let me... Now, it has put something in. The question is it good enough for what we want? Is it not? You can see here that it looks fine from all these sides. But if I come in here, let me toss on my curvature combs and let's turn that way down. Shut up, dog. You can see how in this area here it folds in on itself. Not quite perfect. What we can then do is we can come back and say, okay, fix up the boundaries. Doesn't really do anything. Now, what we haven't done yet is we've just told it to figure it out on your own and just connect. Wyatt! Freaking French fries. I'm not going to have any fries left for myself. We have told it just to be positional, like just touch the edges. So what we can do now is we can come back up and say, okay, well, I want to make this to be, I'm selecting that one, I want that to be tangent. And to see what we get. Now you can see, all of a sudden now, that line, if I turn that one off, fixes itself. It's no longer folding in. Now, since I know that I want absolutely everything to be tangent, then all I need to do is come in, select them all, and just say, you know what, make them tangent. Now, the question is, does it blow up on us or not? So here we've got it. Let's turn off our curvature combs. Let's look a little bit at our zebra striping, because again, it's build and evaluate. So the zebra stripes tell me what this form is doing. It doesn't tell me if it's coming into these areas or not. So we're just going to say yes for now. And the real test is going to be when I stitch it together, because remember, we've got our dashed lines turned on. So if we stitch this together, it's going to tell us if we've achieved tangency. So we're going to come and go knit surface, and we'll knit this, 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 and this. And you can see that we've got tangency now. So we've got the side profile curves we like. We've got this curve that we like. We got this curve that we like. We've got tangency, tangency, tangency. We don't know if when we mirror it, if we're going to get tangency at the center. We told it to. We gave it the parameters to. So now we need to see if it actually does it. So let's just come back up. We're going to delete our surfaces. Nope, not that one, because that one is what we want to keep. So we'll hide those. And then what we're going to do, and I'm seeing something here I don't necessarily like. It looks like it's a little bumpy. That may be because I don't have the curves right or the positionings right because I didn't play with it. But it just feels like from here to here, which is here to here. I don't know if you guys see that, but it doesn't do a very nice job of blending. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I'm going to do in a second here. But first, let's see if we got tangency across the middle. So we're going to take that and we are going to go to features. We're going to mirror it over. And this is a multiple step process many times. Whoops. One or more features used in this mirror feature are no longer in the model. Well, that makes no sense. So we're going to take that. We're going to mirror it. That's what we're mirroring. Oh, whoops. I don't want it to be a feature. I want it to be a face. Or not. Okay, well, let's come in here and just go with, I believe that's your right plane. Nope. Front plane. One or more features used in this mirror feature are no longer in the model. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Let's go with geometry pattern. Why is it doing this? Okay. So I'm going to go back here, pre-stitch, and then I'm going to try to mirror it. Linear, mirror, mirror face. Is this one. faces to mirror is that one. I don't know why it's doing that. That is bizarre to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick cheat. So again, it's not about being faster. Sometimes it's about just knowing different ways of doing it. And I don't like to waste my time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to delete that face, that face, that face. Delete. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to work. Well, you know what? I'm going to delete that face. And I'm going to delete that face. And this is just me going quick because I don't want to deal with stuff. And I got one more face to delete, which is this one. So I'm trying to see if I can trick it into doing what I want because I don't know what the problem is going on, and I don't want to have to deal with it. Okay, so first what I want to see is now can I mirror that? So just in case doing that helps. I don't think it will because there's something else going on that I'm not sure. We're going to go mirror face or plane, which is this. We're going to go down here. Are you serious? I wonder if I wasn't supposed to be mirroring. So we're going to just test something here. All right, so it mirrored. I did miss a command when I mirrored. If I come back in, edit feature, I want to have it knit the surfaces right off the bat. So we're going to knit the surfaces. And for whatever reason, these didn't knit at all. So let's try this again. So we'll continue to knit. That to that, to that, to that. Okay, there. So now you can see that we've got tangency in everywhere we want. But, like I said, I'm not necessarily sure I like that lump. So again, is it my eyes? What is it? Let's come in, evaluate, turn on the zebra striping. We can see that we've got tangency on all these edges. It's not bad. Next, I want to look at curvature. So where is the rate of curvature? And actually, it's not bad. But now I'm noticing where I'm going to see it, where I don't like it, is from the back view, is where I think I'm seeing it. And there, we've just caught that that's not what we like. At least that's not what I would like. So before I go any further to show you how to fix this now, I know this is getting a little bit more complicated than just pure solid modeling. Questions or comments? No? Okay. So I just thought of a second problem that may be the cause of this. Any thoughts on what might be causing this problem?
Is your cylinder for the bottom part of the handle smaller than the one for the top?
That's what I think. I think I extruded this diameter, and then when I made these ones, I didn't make them as one, so that's why they're bulging everywhere. So awesome catch. Now, let's see how well I built my model here. Because I'm going to go all the way back up. To here. I think that's it. I'm going to edit this sketch. And again, I was going quick. So I took shortcuts. I didn't dimension it. Wyatt! So if I had dimensioned it, I would have paid better attention. So I'm going to come out here. And again, you know that I hate 21.93. Unless you're doing watches, that's something that's going to make me mad. Pay attention to that in your models. Because we're going to change that. Oops, hold on. Oh. Right, hold on. So it's not that one I need to change. Because that was built off of this. So it's this sketch here I need to come in, which will be 21.93 when I measure it. And we're going to make that 22. Minor adjustment. By updating that, it updates the next revolve. Now, what we want to do, 22, okay, we want to come in, we want to make sure that we have this correct. So I'm going to lock the center line in place. This, in order to, okay, hold on one second. Come here. Okay, you get to go outside. It's always the little dog that's mouthy. Always. So, ideally we want this to be half of that. So we're going to go with a, it should be 11. So you can see we're almost off by 1 millimeter. So we'll change that. We will update that one. Okay, so the next we want to do is come to this revolve. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, so let me go back and anchor this again. We'll toss in our dimension. Yeah, so this one is even greater. Okay, now, remember when I made sure that I snapped everything to those lines? That's going to play a big role as we move forward. So what I'm going to do is turn off that and turn off that. And we're just going to roll all the way down to surface knit. Oh, and it blew up. Okay, let's see why it blew up. Oh, so for some reason when I moved it, it did not keep this one tangency on there. So we're going to come in and we will delete that. And what we're going to do is we're going to move it and we'll snap it to that now. Now, we moved it, so we got to make sure we come back in and apply tangency to it. Let me just delete all. I just want to make sure that we're getting this right. There to there, tangent. My concern was that when I made this tangent to this, I did not see this move at all. There you go. That was really, really minor. I don't know if any of you actually saw that move. But that's kind of an eyeball thing for me. It's like, well, I know that I moved this. If it's no longer tangent, then it should move. So we've got that. Now let's see. We'll get out of this sketch. Okay, so it's going to force us to continue to fix things, which is fine. We're going to edit that. I'm going to actually close that off. And then I'm going to turn these surfaces back on. And I think instead of trying to fiddle with things, well, let's just see. Okay, so let's just go edit. We will clear all these faces off. And we'll put them back in. I'm still going to start with just doing contact. And we'll put that in there. Boundary is open. Okay, so something that we've changed along here, something's no longer connected in these areas. So I'm just going to exit out of there. So why don't we take a quick break? I'll find what I missed in here and I need to go shut the dog up. Okay?
Yeah.